think we are good to go. All right, welcome back to another episode of The American Entrepreneur, where we interview entrepreneurs all over the world, but as long as they do business in the United States. We want to hear their story, what got them into entrepreneurship, and maybe they have something to teach you guys out there, and you can use it in your own businesses. The guest we have today, his name is Donald Sawyer, and he is in Winston, Salem, and he is in the writing and speaking business. And I'd like you to welcome Donald Sawyer. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. I saw your profile via Facebook, reached out to you, and you got an intense personality, and you're ready to go. So it's a pleasure to have you on here. And if you could just share with our guests who you are, what type of business you're in, and what got you into it.
Okay, wow. My name is Donald Sawyer III. I'm from Winston-Salem. I was born in 1984. I got into writing, I got into writing at the age of 6. But as far as business, I didn't get into it till this year. I've loved reading and writing since I've been a child. It's something I've always been drawn to it.
Oh, okay.
And the same thing for speaking. I've always been drawn to it. But this year is when I've really taken that leap to do it as a profession.
Oh, okay. All right. So now, do you come from a background or a family of entrepreneurs, or is it something you just knew was inside you?
In my family, no. Most of my family, they work day jobs. So I guess I'm kind of the black sheep in that regard. So
okay.
no pun intended.
Gotcha. So,
Yeah.
what's your business called? And how, who's your clients? Tell me how you find your clients, or give me a how do you get your name out there?
Okay. Well, my brand is called SawyerVision, and I use that as an umbrella for my books and for speaking. As far as finding clients, what I'm doing right now, honestly, is I'm working the elementary school circuit. So I'm calling around, using the connections I have, and I'm really just honing in on the relationships.
Okay.
Meeting people and really getting to know them, letting them know what my passion is for speaking to students, and just branching off of that.
Gotcha. Okay. And you've been doing that this past year?
Yes,
Excellent.
yes.
Yeah. Now, did you write a book recently? So you go around sharing your book, or is it basically you just talk about the importance of communication?
Right now, what I do is I talk about the importance of making positive choices.
Very good.
More so the importance of surrounding yourself with positive people. That's what I talk to the students about.
Excellent. Now, do you have any mentors guiding you throughout this entire process, or are you kind of doing this all on your own, man?
No way. I have some good people around me. Kendall Ficklin, he runs the Grindation Facebook group. So
Oh,
he is a mentor of mine.
okay.
He's a speaker. He's a speaker and an author as well.
Very good. Excellent.
Yes.
Nice.
And
Now,
there's all.
I'm sorry I cut you off
I'm
there.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
Oh no, you're fine.
yeah. So, the entrepreneurship. Now, when you started to get yourself into it, were you making a lot of mistakes, and that's why you reached out to people, or did you just kind of fall into a nice niche with some of these elementary schools, and just there was a need for it, and you reached out and you said, okay, I can help you out there?
Um, Really, man, it was organic. It was organic. In my past, I've had a history with jail, with substance abuse, and in my youth, I didn't have any ambition. That's where it stemmed from for me, man. In my youth, I made a lot of bad choices, and now as an adult, I look back in my youth and I say, man, if I had have known certain things, I could have flourished. So I look at it as I'm trying to teach the students, look, man, I made these bad choices. Let me tell you what I learned from my errors. So
Oh,
maybe you can be the best you can be.
nice. So the past, basically, because you've been through some tough times, you know that you can actually inspire people, because if they're going to go through the same stuff as you, or you can maybe deter them from going on down that path, you know that how dark some of those paths can be. Is that why it's important for you to give back?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And
Because I've had a tough time, and I've just recently begun to see what I can do with a clear mind, with focus, with having a good team around you. And so I say to myself, man, I need other kids to know this,
yeah,
so they don't make the same choices I made.
makes sense. Now, how do you find do you find a lot of people via social media, or is this basically in your community you're kind of looking around for movers and shakers and people who are very positive so they can inspire you also? And that's what American Entrepreneur is all about, is basically I've learned that anybody out there can inspire another person. So no matter what industry you're in, you have something to teach, but you can also get somebody to make a decision to take action in their life. So the people that you're finding to include in your life, are you finding them via social media or in your community?
Both, man. Really. Um, I love the face-to-face interaction.
Me too. Me
So
too.
social media is great, but I love to talk to people, either through video or in person. I love that. It's very rich. You can see the people's mannerisms. That you can really see their enthusiasm versus typing on the computer. It's a little different for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. As far as local, yes, I'll talk to different people. I go to schools. I'll call people that I know in certain areas. I'll call them and talk to them and see the reach they have. For example, when I did jail ministry, the church I was going to, I reached out to different people in the church that did different things in the community, and they were able to plug me in with various things, various people.
Wow. Okay. So just making connections via connections, basically, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, what is the hardest part that you're running into of getting your name out there and getting your message heard? What's some of the difficulties? Maybe, because some of our people who are watching this are scared about taking that leap into entrepreneurship, so they're always wondering about the unknown. So, what are some of the difficult things that you have to deal with, and how do you overcome them?
Mm. You said the unknown. That's a big one. That's huge. Um, because when you have a day job, everything's already laid out for you. You know when you
All
get
right, I think we're back here. So where you left off was when you were talking about the unknowns of entrepreneurship. How when you go to a job, you know what you have to do. There's somebody there to tell you something. You know when you're getting paid. You know that whenever it's 5 o'clock, you can go home. So go a little bit more into detail of that, because I think that's the most fascinating part about it. Because if you are trained to be an employee and then you jump from an employee to an entrepreneur, it's a whole different world. So can you go into a little bit more about that? That's awesome.
Yes, I can. I can. The biggest thing for me with the unknown is trying my best to plan to preparation. Like, say, for example, the night before, I will plan what I want to do first thing in the morning. That way I can go ahead and get the ball rolling. The second thing is time management. That's one of the biggest things for me with the unknown. Just making sure you use your time well. Also with the unknown, I think the biggest thing is opportunity, and finding opportunity in places where it's not always money attached to it. Using opportunities to where you can be amongst people, because when you can be amongst certain people, people can plug you into certain things. So it's not always about trying to find money. A lot of times I feel like it can be finding good opportunities, and that will lead to different things down the line.
Yeah, I,
You
I
know,
can I can agree with that, because even when I talk to other entrepreneurs and I'll say something along the lines of, putting yourself in certain rooms just to make the right connections, and then they would ask me, well, how do I make any sales from that meeting? Well, that's not the whole key to that. It's you have to meet the right people to put you in other rooms and get your name out there to be a person of value before anybody's going to give you any money for what you do. Is that what you're kind of alluding to?
that is
Yeah, it's interesting to see
okay.
that uh, you have to actually produce a lot of content, a lot of value, meet the right people before anybody's going to hand you a dollar, right? Like before anybody thinks of you as a person
Exactly.
to go to buy from, right?
Right, right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So
I think it's funny you said that. You talked about content and value, and that's the first thing that came to my mind is how now for me being an entrepreneur is I look at myself the way I go grocery shopping. Like for example, I'm going through the aisles. You see different products, and you ask yourself, okay, well this product can do this for me for this price. You know, this product can do this for me for this price. Okay, now which one is going to benefit me more? You know, I look at the features. I look at myself and say, okay, what am I really bringing to the table for this person? You know, what am I really doing for this person? Because that's how other people are going to look at it. You know,
yeah,
they're going to look at, you know, what can you do for me? You know,
that makes a lot of sense. I've never heard that analogy in my life. I've been an entrepreneur for 9 years, and I've never heard of you compare yourself to somebody in a grocery or product in a grocery store. That does make a lot of sense though, because you have so many choices and options and ideas of where you want to go and who's going to help you the most, and actually what's your end goal of everything. You have to think about that stuff.
right, right, exactly.
Now, if there was one thing, now in my book, I wrote a book also called The Dreamstarter, Start a Business Guide for the Diehard Entrepreneur. In my book, I talk about finding your vision. Now, it sounds like we are on the same path here. The way I help people find their vision is basically, and it sounds very morbid, Donald, but I get them to write down their dream obituary. So
Wow,
so
it's different.
basically, you know, they say hindsight is 20/20, right? So
Oh yeah,
if you can give yourself like a mock look back on your life and say to yourself, this is how I want to be remembered, then every choice that comes across your table, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's I want to go after this all in, I want to go to this house, I want to buy this car, it comes back to, okay, well, does it match up with this obituary? And then decisions are a little bit easier. So how
right.
do you get people to make the right decisions? And I know that you are able to have a positive impact on their life because you made some drastic changes in your life, and so you can get them to relate to that. But what's the number one thing that you can give to these people that can really like, okay, I get it. That's my takeaway. I'm with you on this. You know, that I want to hear. Give me something to help our audience figure out this is what I need to do to get on the right path.
Mm. The first thing I look at for students is I spoke to an elementary school group last Thursday, and the first thing I asked them was, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I got everyone had a different answer. And once they told me that, I went deeper. I said, "Now, what is it about that excites you? You know, what is it about that you really look forward to doing?" And I was able to get to the meat of, you know, how they look at it, like the activity. You know, because I look at it, for me, being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of different ways to make money. There's a lot of different things you can do, but at the end of the day, are you really engaged in that? Because I feel like a lot of times, if you're not engaged in what you're doing, people are going to notice.
Oh yeah.
People are going to check out. You know, if you're not enthused, if they're not feeling that, okay, this guy, you know, you have to have that good energy. I think that's my main thing is, what are you energetic about? I mean, you could do anything, but at the end of the day, if you're going to do something and spend time on it, I would think you would want to enjoy it. That's the main thing I get from the students is, okay, you say you want to be a lawyer. Is that because lawyers make a lot of money, or is that because you're really in tune with the process? Because once you start doing something for hours and hours and hours every day, and you're the main motivation behind getting everything done, if you're not engaged in it, it's not going to work. It's going to be really difficult to make that work hours and hours and hours a day.
Yeah.
So that's my main thing is just finding their enjoyment.
Yeah.
other things.
And as an entrepreneur, the daily battles, it's, there's such a grind, and it beats you down a lot of days. So I always think that you're going to be constantly asking yourself why. Why am I
Mhm.
doing this? Why am I putting myself through hell? Why am I going to go and do this? Nobody's looking out after me. I'm on my own here. So why am I going to do all this? And you got to have a strong why, I think. And if it's just for money, I don't think that's strong enough for a lot of entrepreneurs. I think it has to be a greater purpose. And I think that's where you're kind of alluding to also, is that there has to be something inside you that says, I'm willing to do this because of this.
Right. 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 I agree with you 100%.
Now, is there anything that a website, any books, any materials, anything that you want to tell our audience about for them to check out about you? Because if there's anybody seeing this in Salem, or if there's any elementary school in the United States that wants to hear you speak, any ways to reach out to you, any ways to contact you? Because I think you have a lot of stuff to share with people that are, you have a lot of value to add to these people's lives. And is there anything that you want to share with our audience so they can check you out more?
Yes. My website is SawyerVision.biz. That's BIZ. And
Okay.
on there, I have my book. I offer my book there, my first one.
Nice.
And that's the thing about it that I really want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, you're an author. And this is my first book. Like I said, my first self-published book.
Okay.
And the dilemma that I'm having right now, and I was talking with a friend of mine about this, is do you build your product first based on what you like, and then you seek your audience, or do you find the audience and see what they want and then build your product?
I think to answer that question, I did it the first way, but the correct way is to do it the second way. Now, this was my first book, and I'm working on another book, and I'm doing it the opposite way. So this book I created from, probably, it took me a couple years. Like every once in a while, for years, I would write every morning at 5 a.m. I'd get up and write for
Mhm.
a little bit, and it would just be these little blog posts. Now, to hold myself accountable, I would take those blog posts and share it with everybody on my social media platforms. So it gave me accountability. No matter what, I had to try, because if somebody read it, they'd say, oh, this is either worth reading or it wasn't. So I tried to do that. Now, I would do that for years. And last year, I had a little bit extra time. I was like, well, you know what? I want to finish that book that I've really been thinking about for the longest time. So I took a
Mhm.
couple blog posts from the years prior, and then I tied
Mhm.
it all together in my one central theme, which was basically the 7 basic principles of entrepreneurship. And I tied it all together with everything I've done in the past. And it was really my heart and soul into it. But to answer your question, if I were to write, and I am going to write another book, I would do it the other way, where it was basically, now that I'm talking to a lot of entrepreneurs and meeting with other people and meeting with my clients, I'm finding out what do they really want to hear. What is going to get me into those schools to speak to the students about? And would it be more of this? Maybe, but it would be more of, you know, the struggles of an entrepreneur, and some of the details that a lot of other entrepreneurs are sharing with me, that it seems like there's something out there that they're not getting from basic education, that I could provide them in different speeches and even a book. So yes, if I were to do it again, I would do it the way of finding what the market wants, putting it into a book, and then sharing it with them. Now, I'll
That's
give you a little tip here for the audience and for yourself. You got to use Amazon self-publishing. I don't know if you're using that yet, but that's the way to
not yet.
go. Hands down, the way to go. Now, do you have a hardcover book? What kind of book you got?
It's a paperback book.
Paperback? Did you get it printed already?
It's yes, yes. I have it printed, ready. It's available. Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, so
That's. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
yeah, you can still use Amazon Kindle. So that's another way to get your name out there, and it's free of charge. It doesn't cost you a dime. I would highly recommend that you just take it and put it into a .pub file, send it to Amazon Kindle, get it out there so people can start seeing it, and you don't have to ship it out. If they buy it right then and there, and it's something that you could offer anybody who buys one of your services. Hey, you know what? If you buy my speaking engagement, I'll give you 1,000 copies of my ebook. And your book title is what?
It's called Dance Up Out of Here.
Dance Up Out of Here. Oh, okay. I've seen some of your Instagrams. Oh, you got everybody. Please check out his Instagram. What's your Instagram or your Facebook? I think it's you have a lot of this on there, right? You have a lot of Instagram posts about your book, and now it's just tying in here.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram. Yeah. My handle is Donald Sawyer. Yes.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Please check that out, guys, because it's hilarious. Some of the stuff he posts. And I didn't put it 2 and 2 together, but now it makes sense. Some of the pictures you have to do with your book. That's great. Okay. That's amazing. All right. So check out the book, the website, his Instagram handle. And if you're a school out there, or if you have some kids that want to hear a story that would really change their lives possibly. So reach out to Donald Sawyer. Donald, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm going to contact you afterwards anyway because I had some questions for you, and maybe we'll get you back on here in early 2017 if that's okay.
I would love to, man. I'd love to, Mike.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much, and guys, stay tuned for more of the American Entrepreneur to hear their stories. Hopefully it affects your life, and remember, the American Entrepreneur will always create more. Thank you.
Thank you.